What is up, everyone? Welcome to 30 Days of Death Shadow. We are on day 28. Can't believe we are only 2 more days after this away from completing the challenge. It's pretty crazy. It's been a really, really awesome time. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. It's great to have you here. I've challenged myself to play and record a League of Death Shadow every single day for 30 days straight, upload it to YouTube. And we go on 5-day rotations. So we're on our very last rotation, and we are on 4 color. That's day 3 of our rotation. And I'm super, super excited to be playing this awesome list, coming straight from the Shadow expert himself, the Control Freak, or my good buddy Mike. We got a pretty cool one. Last time we played 4 color, I tried my own build of Luris in the sideboard as a companion. I was playing with stuff like Monastery Swiftspear and Stubbs, and that kind of didn't really jive. So we've got more of a take that's... Mine was more like... It was more like Rakdos-centered Splashing Blue, but this one's more just Jund Shadow with Splashing Blue for Stubborn Denial. So you can see we got the 4 Bolts, 4 of Inquisition and Thoughtseize, 4 Stub, 4 Death Shadow, and then 4 Tarmogoyf and 3 Scourge of the Skyclaves. We also got a spicy Renin 6 and 2 Kroxa in the main deck. This looks like a really, really cool list to me. I'm super excited to give it a shot. As you can see in the sideboard, we have one of the best reasons for being green right now, which is Veil of Summer. There's a ton of mirror matches running around out there. Esper Control just won a challenge at the hands of TSP Gendrick, so that's a deck we're really going to want Veil of Summer for. We also got access to Nile's Spellbomb to help fight the Yard. We have a nice copy of the Glamour. We were trying out 3 copies of the Glamour in yesterday's video, and this one we just got the 1, so look excited to have this one to Glamour. 2 Assassin's Trophy, definitely a card that I missed yesterday. We didn't have it in our list, but I'm really a fan of Trophy in the sideboard. It's such a flexible removal spell. It can be brought in such a wide variety of matchups. It's super helpful. We got our 2K returns because we still have Heliod and other creatures or other decks using pro red and black creatures, so really important to have Kozilek's return. 2K commands, really good flexible answer, as well as an engineered explosives. So let's hop right in. I'm super pumped about playing this deck. It should be a pretty good time. We're going to have to be pretty mindful of how we fetch with this deck because we're going to find ourselves in some really awkward situations with our mana base and making sure we've got all our colors covered. Our main pairing in this deck in terms of shock lands is going to be a Stomping Ground and a Watery Grave. The 2 of those are complementary shock lands. They cover all 4 of our colors in our deck. But one notable thing about those 2 is that those 2 paired together do not cast a Renin 6. So that's really important to remember. And yeah, so other than that, everything else is pretty solid. I was just thinking to myself, all of these also cast our Kroxa, right? Because we were talking about not having Breeding Pool in this deck. You'll see a common shock pairing being Blood Crypt and Breeding Pool. Will cover all your colors in a 4-color shadow list. But we're opting not to play Breeding Pool because Breeding Pool does not help cast Kroxa. But the rest of our shock lands do. We have just the basic Swamp, I believe. Yeah, just basic Swamp here, so that's also something to keep in mind while we're fetching and also playing against Blood Moon. This list is definitely soft to a Blood Moon. We are just going to be trying to grab a basic Swamp against Blood Moon matches and just trying to do our best with that. Either making sure we're holding up Stub or prioritizing Blood Moon when we are Inquisitioning or Thought Seizing. Let's see, we also have, I forgot to mention the Seal of Fire, a nice way to grow your Tarmogoyf, and also pairs really well with Luris if you bring it in as a companion from the sideboard. But yeah, let's hop right into our match. I got a couple buddies hanging out with me today, so you might hear some commentary in the background, which is exciting. But yeah, let's jump right into it. We would love to be on the play. We would love to reveal our Pokemon. Let's see what our opponent has in store for us.
A little terrified when my opponent comes out with the name Charging Badger.
Exactly right. So, Scourge looking a little sketchy in this hand, but against another Luris deck, there's a decent chance we're going to be able to turn on our Scourge. I also really, really like double Thoughtseize on the play against a Scourge deck. Because even if they're like Mill or Boggles, then we have a really great way to have a turn 1 play here. But most likely our opponent is on a Shadow deck themselves. And thankfully, our Shadow opponents are very nice and deal tons of damage to themselves. I'm not going to do anything with this Mishra's Bauble. My anticipation is that my opponent is also on a Thoughtseize deck. But they are not. Looks like we are up against a mill deck. Okay, so thankfully they do have to shock in this Watery Grave to turn on the Scourge. This is an interesting one. I think I'm going to prioritize killing these crabs. So if I Thoughtseize a crab, dismember the other one, and then Thoughtseize a Mesmeric Orb, I think they'll just mill us for 20. And I think we can live with that. We'll take them off most of their first 2 turns. And then hopefully when this dust settles, we'll have a Scourge and we'll be able to get in. So I'm pretty happy doing that here. And then we'll just go ahead and bobble our opponent on their upkeep. They're drawing into a Field of Ruin. So Field of Ruin kind of scary when we have Swamp in our opener. They have 2 Field of Ruins, so let's be mindful of that. They can't do it next turn, but the turn after, we have to remember that those are just going to be strip mines on our basics. Let's see what we draw into. Another Bauble. Excuse me, and a Termagurf. So we have nice threats to follow up with, but again, I think it's important to dismember this, Thoughtseize away the orb, and that way our opponent is not doing a whole lot.
So, before you make any actions, I would take into consideration with this double Field of Ruin, there's a chance that if you don't start getting threats down, you might not have access to them.
Yeah, but I know that I can take off at least this next turn, because with just 2 lands out, you know, like, we'll be okay.
Right.
But I guess you could say, like, we just have to go, like, Tarmogoyf from the Scourge right now. I'm going to bobble them first to see what they're just hitting a Shelldock Isle. So...
So I think there's consideration for the fact that, like, this crab's not killing you in the next turn.
Sure.
The Mesmeric Orb's not killing you, but if you're able to just, like, get a threat, get to pressuring them, then I think that's a little bit better for us in the long run. Especially since they don't have a fetch right now to do anything crazy with this,
Sure.
crab.
Yeah. And if we hit another land here, that'd be pretty nice. Okay, that's exactly what we're looking for. Because then there we can either Thoughtseize or dismember the crab. Excuse me. And then also play another threat to the board. Ooh, one of those. Okay, so we're going to have more lands at our disposal here, which is nice. Let's see, if we Thoughtseize, we're just getting a glimpse. We know their hand exactly. So I think I'd rather just dismember the crab here and then play a Scourge.
I agree.
Alright,
Like,
just...
a lot of the cards you really care about are double costed, like Drown in the Lock, and they can't cast any of those off of their current hand. They would have to Field of Ruin and then swing, or then cast one the turn after, so it like gives you a turn off to Thoughtseize.
Alright, and it looks like our opponent did not draw into an answer to either of our threats, so we didn't even get to show them the weakness in our deck of just having the single basic. So, alright, in this matchup, now Spellbomb is really great because we can nuke our own yard in response to a Crypt Incursion or in response to a Visions of Beyond. And other than that, Veil of Summer is pretty solid against them because a decent amount of their mill spells target us, as well as the fact that they play a lot of removal spells. I actually have been liking cutting Temur Battle Rage in this matchup a lot more, just because sometimes not only our resources, but just like cards just become really precious that we have access to. And so not only do they play removal spells, but sometimes the way that the games play out, where they just surgical a bunch of things, or they're milling away resources, or we just have the one threat out and we can't cast anything else, sometimes you just want to just have like be densely packed with threats against them. Other than that, I feel like with Dismember, Lightning Bolt, Seal of Fire, I think it's probably okay to trim on these pushes. Bolt's obviously better because it can go upstairs, and can also help us turn on a Death Shadow, so I'm happy with that.
I actually like trimming Seal of Fire here because it doesn't hit Ruin Crab.
Oh yeah, yeah, Ruin Crab has 3 toughness here, so
Right.
definitely good there for sure. Let's see, what else? Kind of into everything else. Crooks is kind of cool. Obviously, our mana base is pretty sensitive to their Field of Ruins, but if we do hit those 4 lands and they just flip over our threat for us, we can just bring a Crooks at back, which is really nice. Other than that, I guess we can go down to one now Spellbomb. I think I'm pretty happy with this arrangement right here. We have a lot of powerful cards here. Stubborn Denial is going to be very powerful as well, Veil Summer. I wish we had some room for some Kolaghan's commands, because I think they're very good in this matchup, but I'm kind of into everything else here, honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and just submit. We're going to reveal Lurrus as our Pokemon here. Interesting hand. I think it's just a mulligan. Obviously Veil Summer in the opener with a Bauble, and then Hand Disruption looks really nice, but just having the Stomping Grounds here, I think it's not quite what we're looking for. This hand looks pretty solid to me. And why don't we play around Archive Trap by bottoming the fetch land, because this hand currently doesn't really need it. So we can just kind of happily do that there. We're just going to go Island, pass. Alright, let's go play out a Bauble here. So Island, pass. Unusual for them not to have Crab turn 1. I was kind of anticipating it. See, they're going to draw into a Feed the Swarm. So I think I still want to Inquisition here, because if we can snipe an orb really early in the game here, I think that's pretty big. I don't think Mill plays 1 blue mana per mission. Okay, yeah. So they have a very controlling kind of hand here. We can definitely fight through a removal spell, this Feet of the Swarm, with this Veil of Summer. So I think I'm happy with that. They have no mill spells to really activate this Visions of Beyond yet, and we know they're not drawing into it. So our opponent might be just really priced to just, you know, cycling this for 1. Looks like they're going to do that right away. Okay, cool. So they have, now this is their hand, and there's going to be 1 unknown they're drawing into here. Feed the Swarm's a sorcery? Okay, good to know. Looted Delta. Let's see, maybe our opponent drew into something here, and they're kind of considering their options. Just make sure my internet's good. Alright, just tapped Watery Grave. So that was a card that they drew into that we didn't know about yet. Love to see another Hand Disruption spell here. We don't, but that's okay, because I think we're just going to shock, hold up Veil of Summer. Oh, we can't hold up Veil of Summer with the Goof next turn anyway. So actually, something funny we can do here is we can play the Tarmogoyf, they can feed it, and that will lose them life, and we can play a Scourge and hold up Veil for that. So I actually I don't mind that too much. Obviously, it doesn't feel great to throw away a Tarmogoyf here, but I do kind of like being able to tap them out at sorcery speed here to land a Scourge and then protect it with a Veil. Polluted Delta. So we got 2 unknowns as of right now. Okay. Alright. If they fetch, then the Scourge becomes a 3/3, which is nice. Thoughtseize is pretty interesting. I'm fine though. I still want to land this threat here. And we can still hold up Dismember if they draw into a Crab. Thoughtseizing is... Well, if they have 2 removal spells, then we're kind of getting got anyway, so I think I'd rather protect this with the Veil Summer here. Yep. And then hopefully they don't draw into another removal spell. We get to untap Thoughtseize. Of course, worst comes to worst, they do hit the other removal spell. We can just load Lurrus into hand and hopefully keep trucking from there. And honestly, if they have another removal spell, yeah, I mean, now we have 49 cards still left in our deck, right? Like, if they land an orb here, then we're scared. For sure. But their hand is Oboro Unknown. Yeah, they're just loading Luris into hand. They right now can't buy anything back. So we can just Thoughtseize, load Luris. And I'm going to Thoughtseize first. If I see that there's no Archive Trap in hand, I'll fetch. Okay, looks like there's not. So let's go ahead and grab a... We already have double red, which is protected from... And then next turn we get to do a nice little Luris into Goyf or Scourge, depending on... depending on what we feel is better. See, opponent kind of has a turn here where shield's down. Just nothing pass, interesting. Okay, so I think I like going for Goof first. Yeah, I think Goof is just the more reliable... Well, maybe it's not a more reliable threat. They're both going to die to the same things in this spot here. But Goof just does have a little bit more power and toughness right away here. I'm kind of expecting them to have drawn like a Drawn in the lock or something. Oh, just an Archive Trap? Okay, that's... If they don't hit anything else, that's really good for us actually because of our Luris. And there's Kroxa that we can bring back next turn if nothing else happens here. Okay, cool. So, alright, how do we kill them the fastest? Did they mill over a... They didn't hit a Death Shadow, but they could right here. There's a Death Shadow. Okay. So let's count up damage. Here we have 9, 12, and if we play a Scourge... So if this is 9, 12, they're at 5. That means both Tarmogoyf and Scourge will be lethal attackers. I can also Kroxa from the yard. I think we know they just have land in hand. Is there anything else that we can do here to increase the amount of damage we do to them? So I think it's going to be... cast with Luris. I'm pretty sure that, and this is Bolt, and this is... Let's count up how much we're milling over. We've been milling a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We go to 20. And I don't think there's any one card that can hit us for 20. Archive Trap is 13. So I'm pretty... If I mistrack their hand, this could be a punt here. But I'm pretty sure it's just land left in hand. Okay, yeah, it was. Okay, cool. Alright. Let's attack. Oh, if I Kroxa, then I can't Scourge, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I was being dumb. But that's fine, because I still think that this is pretty lethal here for them. They've just conceded? Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah. So obviously I was being dumb. I was thinking Luris was even more broken than it was, but I think either one was fine there. Because we just had untapped Kroxa again with the Bolt in hand. Yeah. Pretty quick 2-0 over mill. There are mill hands that get you pretty good. But certainly the mill hands where they just had like just a bunch of removal spells is fine because Luris is just so good at fighting through just a wall of removal spells. And the ones where they get you are where they like early crab and you don't have an answer for it, and then they start, you know, strip mining you off of your colors, and then surgicaling away some of your threats and targets, and then stuff like that. But that one where they were just playing more or less just blue-black control was pretty reasonable. And then it's with those hands that they have, even when they hit a good mill spell like Archive Trap, it just fueled our Luris even more. Alright, reveal our Pokemon. This hand looks solid to me. We just get to go turn 1, Seal of Fire. We can grab Blood Crypt off of this. Oh, here's where we want Steam Vents for sure. So that's what Mike was talking about. but I still think it's fine. We just have a very Jund-looking hand here, so I will always, well, not always, but more often than not, I will just be happy playing turn 2 Tarmogoyf on the play, especially when we get him nice and thick here. Pass it on to our opponent. Let's take a peek at what they are up to. Just a basic island. They play that one. Okay. So maybe against some kind of control deck. Ooh, Stubborn Denial is nice if we hit a land. Ooh, not the land I was thinking of though. Alright, I don't see any reason why not just to jam the goof here. Opts in response? Nope. Okay. And if for some reason they're like Jeskai or something, not only will a bolt not kill this, but we can also grow it with Seal of Fire in case something weird happens. Don't think that's coming up here, but it might. So they topped. Just another island and pass. Don't really know what's happening yet. Okay, bolt's interesting. I don't know. I mean, like, are they like some mono blue tempo or something? I feel like it's free just to Kroxa to grow the Goyf and attack. We'll see what we get out of our opponent's hands. We can get some more information here about how to. I don't think we need to hold up bolt. We do have Seal of Fire here, which is, you know, maybe does something. Just a flooded strand. Okay. So yeah, maybe just like blue-white control with a little bit of an awkward start here. If that's the case, I do want to keep the Seal of Fire around. Okay, just snap. I don't think I want to blow this. If I blow the Seal of Fire, I hit them for 5 down to 12. But if they just want a naked snap, I think I'm just going to let them block. I think this is fine. Because I'm guessing they're going to try to go untap to Fairy, and then we get this to help answer it to Fairy, would be my guess. Oh no, Cascade Bluffs. Okay, so, oh, is this like the Temu Blue Moon deck? Could be, maybe. If that's the case, hitting a land for this blue source will be really nice. Spell Snare. Okay, that's a good one to know, to play around. I'm going to get like, okay, I was going to say like Exarch here or something. Another Snappy. Just a snap opt. And so they have to opt now or else the mana floats away. Yep. See what they do, if they keep the Spell Snare or not. So they don't keep the Spell Snare. So do I want to do something now? I kind of do. Yeah. We kind of have to get the beats in eventually, right? Guess maybe we could have Battle Rage there to put him to 9. Feels a little... Oh, no, it would have been more because this would have been a 5/5. Feels like a little bit aggressive, but maybe that was right, just to use my mana not when I know they're tapped out. Wish I had a little better of an idea what our opponent was up to. Okay. So yeah, maybe I was supposed to just Team Battle Rage there, just push damage. Because now I'm kind of clunked on red sources, and this is definitely grabbing a blue source, and we notably don't have a Steam Vents in the deck. Alternatively, we could also Kroxa here, so... So now what are we looking at here in terms of damage? I'm just going to pass holding up Stub. Like, I just got Bolt on the end step. It might be just like overly cautious on my part, but in these spots where you just don't really know what your opponent's doing, no, we're just gonna let him draw too. It's fine. Like, they're pretty clearly the Temu deck, but oh wow, Sprite Dragon. Okay, that seems like a really late Sprite Dragon here. So we get to just go ahead and point a bolt at the Sprite Dragon, see what they do. Okay, so we can go ahead and stub now to play around a second force of negation from them. Alright, like Inquisition, just to like more information, know the bolt is going to land. They just concede before we get there? Okay. Interesting stuff. So our opponent's on like... I know Timu does not play Sprite Dragon, so yeah, I don't really know what to make of this one. Okay. Against Islands, Sprite Dragon, and an Archmage's Charm. What do I like? Oh, and also a bunch of Snapcaster Mages. Like, just like a Spell Bomb or two to keep them honest. Kind of, like, honestly reluctant to sideboard too much. I feel like we've got a pretty good setup against what they're doing. Like, all this hand disruption seems pretty good against all the counter spells. Stub seems nice. It's like maybe we don't need Dismember. Like just trim a little bit on some removal spells. Yeah. I don't want to mess with our deck too much, so I feel like our deck's pretty good. Like seems like a lot of our cards are going to line up well against what they're doing. Maybe like they really don't deal any damage to themselves, so maybe like cutting a Scourge wouldn't be like crazy, but this hand looks pretty great though. Mulligan to 6. Interest tapped, okay. So let's just go ahead and bobble them. Take a peek, they're just drawn into an island. And, alright, how are we fetching here? So, I've got 3 fetch lands. And what's my hand? Just all black spells. So I guess we can go black heavy, but anticipating drawing into other spells you want to cast. So I can just immediately try to go for Watergrave Stomping Ground here. The only thing that punishes drawing Wrenn in 6, but we may not be interested in playing a Wrenn in 6 anyway onto this board. So I think I like just going Watery Grave. But if we want to stay black heavy in this hand, like Overgrown Tomb, Blood Crypt, and then the third one be the blue source is probably fine. Probably just lead on a Blood Crypt, I think. And then, yeah, all of these fetches get all the things that we were just discussing, so. Yeah, Blood Crypt's fine. Whoa, okay. So Madcap's good to know about. Goldspan Dragon. Wow, alright, so we're going to sideboard much differently. Obviously we're going to want that Dismember, and we're going to want those Kolaghan's commands. The only card that really, really scares me here, I guess, is just Madcap, because as of right now, our answers to it are in the sideboard, yeah? And we don't have a stub for that yet. I guess they're just going to Sprite Dragon us next turn, but then we just get to Fatal Push it. I think I'm just taking Madcap. And hopefully that Goldspan Dragon seems really slow in their hand right now. Okay, just got plenty of lands to rock and roll with here. If they attack us, that helps us a little bit here. The Sinkhole might be able to hit the Shadow. Let's see. So 14. This is 6 total. So this will be in the yard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So unless they hit a fetch land. Okay, so now we have the Watery Grave. A bit flooded, but that's okay because we could just always pop Glorious into hand. Yeah, so since we drew the Watery Grave, then why don't I just grab the Overgrown Tomb, push this, play a Shadow. And again, unless they hit a fetch land, they should not be able to sinkhole us, I don't think, unless I counted wrong. Play the mountain, this is their hand. Two, four, five, yep. Because, like, at least, like, at the very least... Oh, they draw Bolt. Oh, no, there's Sprite Dragon? Okay, that's fine. Okay. Oh, if they block, that'd be kind of heads up, and then they can sinkhole this next turn. It's 5 damage, so we need, like, a Thoughtseize. Oh, or that? That was kind of a hype draw. So, let's see what they do here. What other fetch lands? So we've got Watery Grave, Blood Crypt, Overgrown Tomb. So we can grab a Stomping Ground for that Bolt. Also have the Blood Crypt. And that will be the last of our fetches. Is that right, Mike? I'm counting four shocks, rather, not fetches.
Should be 5.
Oh, 5 double
Water
Blood
Grave,
Crypt.
Stomping Ground, Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, double
Okay, cool, cool. So we can always grab double Blood Crypt here. So let's go ahead and just lead on Verdant Catacombs. We don't need to hold up blue this turn. But dream scenarios, we hit them, they don't block, they take damage, we get to play the Scourge out. And whatever they target with the Sinkhole... Okay, if they don't block, then we fetch Shock, and then Shadow hits them, and Scourge will be huge. So yeah, we'll be good. Alright. Let me just reset my internet, just in case this is me, not them. See what they do. either block or not block, I'm pretty happy with. Okay, sweet. Yep. Yep. So now... Yeah, we're looking pretty good here. Because if they go to Sinkhole this, then that's their whole turn. Most likely. And we just get to bolt ourselves, and then we are 8-13 with the fetch land representing lethal on them. So we'll see what they do.
That's kind of funny, right? Like, Sinkhole the Shadow, we bolt ourselves. Sinkhole the Scourge, we bolt them.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet.
I would guess if they were planning on sinkholing something, the Scourge is the better target.
Right.
Because you're more likely to run things like Street Wraith and a Shadow deck. I know you got Luris, but
right.
Typically Street Wraith is like the association, like more ways of lowering your life total than your opponent's.
Right. Good point. Sweet. So we just get to lead on this Kroxa. And maybe that gives a little more information here. Maybe incentivizes this Sinkhole a little more. Okay. Discard that. That's fine with me. And this cannot grab, so we got to just shock this in. And let's go for the attack. Yeah, this is why I've been loving Bolt and Shadow decks recently. Just look at this flexibility here, right? It's kind of sick. So we just get to completely... Because we had 3 options here. We could save the Shadow if they went for the Shadow. We could save the Scourge if they went for the Scourge. We could kill the Sprite Dragon if they got aggressive here. And now with this Bolt here, we are presenting lethal to our opponent. It forces a chump. And the Sprite Dragon is still a chump. It still can't kill the Scourge. And notably, our opponent only has 1 red source, so that cannot be double bolt to kill us. Sure. Yep. Respect the opponent's attitude. Go out on their terms, I guess, in a way. Alright, wow, 2 like really fast, clean wins, so feels good. Just doing shadow things, playing big boys and having big bolts.
Deck is sweet, you got a list?
I don't know. Some weirdo sent it to me. I'm not sure if he wants to share it with anyone else.
Sounds like a stalker.
Something like that. Something like that. match number 3. Heir of Elendil. Oh man, we gotta compliment that name. Gotta compliment that name. Bringing me back. This hand looks absolutely cracked. Wow. Alright, so we got to be thinking about our Ren and 6 fetching here. That being said, I don't think we can pass up on the just absolute beautiful and wonderful play of holding up Stubborn Denial on turn 1. What are our blue sources again? Watery Grave. And just Watery Grave?
Watery Grave.
Oh no, so we can't Ren next turn, but that's okay because we might be able to tap Shadow.
In a sequence like this, what I would probably do is fetch up like one of your black X shock lands here for turn 1 Thoughtseize and not go for the turn 1 hold up stub. Just try to get the shadow down, and if you get like Blood Crypt off the first fetch, maybe Overgrown Tomb if you're thinking Tarmogoyf might be a line in the future.
Sure.
Then you can just plan on getting a Ferocious Stub with your 3rd fetch after you get a shadow down on turn 2.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's reasonable here given the composition of this deck and how it plays out. Oh boy, alright, so we got a battle ahead of us, but the good thing is that these Bedlam Revelers are a little bit clogged up in hand. We can take a Soul Scar, dismember the other, maybe be able to leverage a good Shadow with Stub here, so...
Yep.
Definitely a scary hand from our opponent, but we're just going to see if we can't race and beat these Revelers. Not saying that that's an absolute foolproof plan here, but at least we know their hand completely because they didn't have the Mountain in hand before, so...
I think the hand we have right now lines up pretty well with what they've got going on.
Right. So if we dismember this, we'll go to 11, and then we fetch shock down to 8 for a Shadow. That seems pretty sweet to me. It plays around Bolt, and I'm definitely doing this. Sorry, I was thinking like, what am I fetching with this Bloodstained Mire? Could I could just get something to cast Ren. We can Ren get back a land for Stub, right?
That's what I was thinking from the keep. Like, you get Blood Crypt here. Next turn, you Ren, get back either one of your fetches to get Watery Grave to hold up Stub. And then you've got Bloodstained Mire to get Stomping Ground.
Right.
That'll let you recast Kroxa if you decide. Right at the stage.
Makes sense. Okay. So definitely grabbing this land so we can hold up a Stub. That being said, definitely getting a little bit sketchy here.
So how brave do you feel here?
I mean, I don't care. I know their hand, and we can just fetch shock, hit them for the 11 to present lethal, hold up Stub.
That's what I was wondering.
Yep. I mean, if they top deck it, they top deck it, right?
Like, I think you're basically dead to the same things.
Right.
Either taking 3 off the Lava Spike and not being able to stub, or you're...
Right. It's the same thing here.
Spike and...
Oh, that's something we should have thought about. Yeah, so now we die. That's alright, though.
Yeah, but
Prowess
if you
trigger.
didn't fetch, you'd have been dead to this anyway, right?
Right. But I didn't think about Haste Creature being an out for them. I mean, it's better to go out in a blaze of glory putting lethal on board to your opponent than anything else, in my opinion. But, cool. So, good stuff. So we want some of these Dismembers. They showed us 2 of those big boys in hand at the beginning, so... actually, we can just, like, play where we don't try not to care about that. Just try to end the game faster. And maybe just trophies. I don't know, like, Stub's, like, not terribly exciting to me. It's okay. It's like maybe we can trim on 1. The Seal of Fire and Bolt's fine. Just, like, trim on these Dismembers, because we're having Assassin's Trophy to replace that a little bit. I guess Ren and 6 is pretty bad in this matchup, though. You can just, like, chuck a Nile Spellbomb in there instead. Could try to play EE. It feels a little slow to me, but maybe on the play that's okay. Just, like, trim on a Thoughtseize. I don't know, something like this. Just, like, a little bit of just little trims here and there. And then just bringing in more just universal answers and trophy and engineered explosives. And, like, I just want, like, N out to, like, a hand that is reliant on Bedlam Reveler. I think this looks fine to me. This hand looks absolutely fantastic. Wow, I mean, what a hand. I mean, we just get to go Inquisition into Goof, removal spell, followed up by a Scourge. I mean, it does not get better than this. On the play, too. Opponent has also kept 7. And they have a pretty poor hand. So let's think about how big is our Goof next turn. We have Sorcery in hand, and we discard an instant. Let's just say, whatever, Manamorphose. Then it's going to be just a 2/3. And, yeah, they just have Spike. Crash through Lava Dart. So let's just take the Morphos here. Yeah, they have one of those, like, turn 1 cycle crash through kind of hands. Yep. Temur Battle Rage is pretty cool. So the only hope here that we have is just, like, Goyf can die, but let's just hope we can deal damage to them first. And help speed along the Scourge of the Skyclaves. Alright, so we know... Yep. Another land? Okay, I was going to say another land would be kind of the nut here. So we're going to fetch before we deal damage here. We might as well just get that blue source so we have it available to us. And then we get to do something pretty fun here, which is play a Scourge and then hold up Bolt so that if they have a Bolt themselves and they go to Bolt the Scourge, we get to Bolt them to kind of counter it. It looks like they don't have that.
Makes perfect sense.
Yes. My Bolt counters your Bolt. Looks like they hit a Morphos, sure. 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're a bit ways off this Bedlam Reveler as of right now.
I like this a lot because it means they have to tap down on their turn.
Right.
Which means if you just like end of turn bolt them, untap, draw.
I guess I just...
untap, draw, fetch land. I think you still bolt them.
Yep, I am going to, yeah.
Yeah.
Spellbomb 2 to get off the Reveler, right? Just to...
I mean, we have him dead.
We can spellbomb 2 to assert dominance.
Yeah, that's true. We could have, yeah, because we actually the bolt was unnecessary there. I just wanted to just assert dominance. That's all.
Just really wanted to flex.
Exactly right. All right, and that right there is the power of Scourge of the Skyclaves, and that's what I was talking about earlier with Ian. Was that like Scourge of the Skyclaves feels like you're playing Infect sometimes. Like you just land that card, and if they don't answer it, a lot of times you just untap and kill them with it. It's like it's pretty wild card. So does Blood Moon, we want to change anything? Not really. I mean, we could get cute and bring it to Glamour, but we'd have to be like holding up the green for that to happen because we're not playing any basic forests rather. So like a little bit medium on the Glamour here, and then it's really narrow because they're not going to be playing anything else besides maybe like a Shrine of the Burning Rage. So I'm actually pretty happy with our setup here. I think if we get that same hand again this next game, I don't really see us losing because that hand was extremely powerful. And yeah, this hand looks sweet. We got our basic Swamp. We got double hand disruption and a removal spell, and a good start on the path to turning on this Death Shadow. So I will certainly not be mulliganing a hand like this. Okay, there we go. Turn 1 threat. Let's see if they attack us. Sometimes this... They don't. Okay, so if they're not attacking me, then I'm just going to Swamp Inquisition them. And then we can take our time as well. Triple light up the stage. Oh boy. Alright, so obviously if we had bolted the Swift Spear, we would have been massively rewarded, but that's okay. But yeah, let's just start chewing through these light ups. Next turn they get a very easy hit us and then light up. Very funny hand from them. I generally like the Inquisition there, but maybe against mono red I should, you know, reconsider that calibration there for this exact reason. I'm pretty used to playing against Izzet Prowess, where, you know, Inquisitioning that turn 1's so important because you want to dodge that, you know, turn 2 rather, Stormwing entity. And they're trying to decide if they want to cycle this. I think they're supposed to. Oh, they have another threat. Okay, fair enough. Another Shadow's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and Inquisition away another light up here. And then we are going to, I believe, just bolt this on our turn here. Let's see what they have. Obviously this Reveler is scary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, they're getting very close to it. In fact, if they hit a land, are they there? They might be. Okay, double crash through. So they're certainly there next turn. So Thoughtseize off the top would be our best draw for sure.
Wonder why they didn't lead on the Manamorphose.
Yeah, that seems super free, right? Okay, Fatal Push is pretty nice here. So we have to kind of commit to going to 10 here, or going to 10 and having Shadows vulnerable to Lightning Bolts, which is like a little unfortunate here. Potentially if they have bolts in hand, maybe they're still on 2 lands, so maybe it presents a tension between casting Reveler. They just have it already, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so just Morphos Reveler. Not much we can do about that, unfortunately. So why don't we just, yeah, fetch shock for that blue source here. This definitely, I can see the wheels kind of coming off here for sure. Definitely at the hands of the Reveler there. But the best outs that we have is we can leverage our 2 very good threats here. Obviously that bolts here is pretty rough. Okay, let's see what they go for. Do they just Reveler?
I was gonna say, if they don't have lands, they might have to.
Right, and then that's good for us because then they're ditching 4 cards to draw 3.
4 actual spells too.
Right, if it's not lands, yeah. Not sure what I would do if I was them.
Might have drawn like second or third Reveler.
Yeah, maybe flooded on Revelers. That's a thing that can happen with this deck for sure. Yeah, they're definitely in the tank here over it. Okay, they're trying to high upside play here, see if they can hit the other land. Maybe it's like, oh, I didn't hit the land, I can just bolt a Shadow now.
To an extent, they do have to respect that you're representing just having a bolt of your own.
Yep.
So.
Right. So, whoa, okay. Alright, I don't think I'm punished. Well, because I kind of want to put Luris into hand. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and use this push here.
I think that would be mana efficient.
Right. Thoughtseize? Okay.
Yes, I think you have to get this Shadow out of bolt range.
Right. It's like, do I Battle Rage here or do I wait?
Nah, I think it's Luris plus attack.
Right. Ooh. Interesting stuff. So, you know, good on our opponent for making the right decision there. Just going ahead, be disciplined, bolt the Shadow here. Because if they had not, they would have died. Okay, so they've got Reveler, but... Ooh, look at these. Blood Moon too. Wow. Alright, that's pretty good for us. We get to untap Luris Shadow. I think we're still just going to Luris Shadow. I'm just going to go straight to Ooh, do I go to combat here? Oh, no, yeah, because I can always Battle Rage if things get hairy. Alright. We got our boys and girls out on the table here. We got two lethal shadows if they get targeted by Team or Battle Rage. Alright, Soulscar Mage is scary. Do they have... Wow, they somehow don't have darts in the yard, which is so lucky for us. So I think what we're going to do here is... So will we draw? Okay, good, fine. I'm going to lead on an Inquisition, see what we're working with, and then we can have perfect information. Okay, sure. They just want the Prowess triggers. Makes sense. Okay, nice. Okie doke, so... Are we attacking with Luris as well, is the question.
Yes, because if they block Luris, it means they're not blocking one of the shadows, they're just dead.
Right. Alright.
As such.
I see how it is, opponent. Just one sec, double check. No. Somehow we played that whole game without...
Alright, yes.
It's
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Somehow, that's why I was dart checking. I was like, okay. Alrighty. Heck yeah. Feeding the kids. We're 3-0. Feels good. Shows the power of Death Shadows and Team or Battle Rage. We got very, very lucky, though, for their hand to play out the way that it did, though. 100%. We have to call that out because... And I think our opponent, honestly, I feel like our opponent really made great decisions based on the information they had available to them and what they had in their hand. But they just somehow just drew clunksters after clunksters when they were firing off those light up the stages and the Manamorphoses, like leading into that Bedlam Reveler. And it really sucked because they Bedlam Reveler discard like 4 action spells because they didn't want to just waste turns playing out Shrine of the Burning Rages and Blood Moons. And then when they did, then all they just drew into like lands basically. Like right, they hit like land, Soulscar Mage, and Manamorphose. And then the Manamorphose just hit a Blood Moon that we were able to Inquisition away. So, but I mean that's why you play Shadow decks, right? I mean they're just so good at sneaking in that damage and punishing opponents that stumble. So we'll reveal our companion here, and oh my gosh, Mike, can I say no to a triple bobble hand?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think I can. I mean, this hand could be anything. It could honestly be a boat, so, you know.
Yeah, how much we wanted one of those.
That's true. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bobble once on them because I want to see if I can fire both of these off. Our Boreal Grazer? Okay, yeah, we really need to fire all of these off then. And what are we drawing into? A Lightning Bolt? Okay. I don't know if I'd bolt the Grazer. Maybe I would. I'd probably bolt myself for this Shadow, honestly. And then we're going to pass. Okay. All good things. All right, and what are they drawing after they draw this Grazer? Next turn, they're drawing a Simic Growth Chamber. Okay, cool. So if I bolt myself down to 15, I only have shock down to 13. Ooh, we didn't want to see that. Okay, so that, I think, is even more reason to try to bolt ourselves. Yeah, because they can use Grazer to do some crazy little tricks with that Simic Growth, so... we're definitely just going to bolt ourselves here. Hopefully we draw into some action. Alright. Okay, so if I fetch shock down to 12, I can hold up Soft Stub. I don't think that does anything here. So it might be better just to land the Goofster. But Shadow could be more damage output in the long run.
I kind of like Watery Grave here because it stops you from, or stops them from just like jamming second Amulet.
Mm-hmm. Right. Good point. So had our mana situation been like a little bit better, like we had the fetch line in the opener, we would have just soft stubbed that Amulet turn 1, would have been savage. And then I think we would have just set them way far back. But as it is now, it's okay. And honestly, like, I'm excited. Like, I've been playing against Amulet probably at least once every league that I've played for this challenge, and I think the matchup's really fun. Like, I genuinely do. I think there's a lot of play to it. There's a lot of things that you get rewarded for or punished for, and I just have a lot of respect for both of our decks. I think both the Shadow deck and the Amulet deck are just really powerful, good decks to have in Modern. Especially now that Field of the Dead is gone, the Amulet deck is just so much more, has so much more play to it, in my opinion. But let's see what they have. They might just turn to us here. I mean, we'll see. Might just get us. We can't soft stub that. Fortunately, it's not worth soft stubbing either. So they have quite a few land drops here. They have triple Growth Chamber. Oh no, they've already made their one land drop for turn with the Boreal Grazer. Is that right? Yeah, so they couldn't.
This is their first extra land. If they are Boreal, right? So they've got one more land drop.
Mm-hmm.
And they are Boreal Grazer.
So we really want to see. Yeah, we don't want to see that. So we really want to see Dismember. Thoughtseize can be okay here. At least we get to turn on a Ferocious Stub. We know they have Cynic Growth Chamber in hand. Okay, I like that.
We don't have enough lands currently to turn
That is about to say the same thing. It needs to be 5 other mountains. You need 1, 2, 3, and if even they top deck another, it won't do it. So let's go ahead and shock this in so that this outgrows both their creatures and attack. Guessing our Boreal Chump. Yeah, it makes sense. I want to go shields down to play this goof.
I think that's right.
Right.
Like it's
they have one draw.
To draw exactly.
Yeah, and then we get to untap and just let loose. Just another Amulet of Vigor. I'll take that. Take just the other Amulet of Vigor.
Amulet, Razor.
Right. Ooh, we're kind of getting messed with here, aren't we? Oh, Engineered Explosives. Okay, another Amulet. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if it's in main deck Engineered Explosives, I'm going to be just such a sad person.
Such a sad panda.
Dude, a very sad panda. Alright, so fetch lands.
Turn Timber Symbiosis here?
Yes, they do. Okay. So, never mind. Oh, it was a bad draw. No, we didn't want that. Alright, it's clenching time, boys. It is serious clenching time. So yeah, so kind of punished for tapping off that stub, but I still think this was just our best shot. I mean, giving them one turn to do this, like...
I agree.
Yeah. So turn Timber, hit a big, thick Azusa. We'll take that. No, we're just dead. Okay. Well, I'll let my opponent has us dead here, but let's see if they know how to do this. So, because it is... I have played against a shocking number of Amulet opponents that don't know how their own deck works, so... Okay, good. Yeah, they know what's up. Just grabbing double Valakut here. Give this haste. I still completely 100% stand behind our decision to tap out for the goof. I mean, this just shit happens, you know. I mean, not much you can do about that.
That's definitely correct to tap out there.
Right.
Because you're putting yourself in a position to just like
untap and win.
Draw, fetch land, battle, and kill.
Right, exactly. And look, we went to turn 3. This was, if they didn't get it here on turn 3, we were going to kill them on turn 4. So, you know, kind of sweet. I love the snappy magic, you know. Snappy decisions here. Okay, they got it. They're targeting us. Love to see it.
It's also like, how bad do you feel if you don't play the turn north in the past, your opponent just like top decks actual Titan.
Right.
Stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it just doesn't do anything here. Yeah, true. Alright, so what do we like here? We'll try it. We're going to try it, Mike. We're going to try it.
I just want to point out, I'm not saying I do or do not do
I do or do. I may or may not support what's decisions that are being made here. So I kind of like just cutting the Seal of Fire. I think it's very low impact. Doesn't really do anything against them. But I kind of like everything else. I mean... maybe we should keep a push from a Bolt. Again, I still just love the flexibility of Bolt in this deck. You know, being able to point it ourselves is really great. But, you know, if we draw the Bolt, and we wish it was a push for the Dryad. Obviously, that's a big field ad, so we'll keep one. But notably, we did just bring in 3 answers to a Dryad. So, namely in double Trophy Deglammer. And it's just so feels so good to be able to just bring in trophy against Amulet and just say it's fine, it's good, because Field of the Dead, God forbid, is not in the format anymore. So, but yeah, lots of things about that game. That was a super close game. Not only that they ripped it off the turn timber, they could have not. Also, if one of our opening lands was a fetch land and not one of those shock lands, we would have turn one stubbed that Amulet, and then we would have most certainly have won the game. So, all good things. I think this matchup is super close, but I don't know, Mike. I mean, I guess it depends on the build, but I've always felt like somewhat favored against Titan, but not by a lot, but like at least somewhat favored. Because we just have like a really assertive, aggressive plan against them.
I do think we are a little bit on the favorite edge, especially now that Field of the Dead's gone.
Yeah, oh yeah, with Field of the Dead, we didn't stand a chance. Actually, you know what? Ren and 6 is really bad. Let's try a Kolagon's command, actually. Hope that submission caught it. I really actively don't want to draw Ren and 6 against them.
It's a little bit better on the play, just because you can drop it down on like turn 3 plus a fetch land or something.
Right.
But definitely not great.
Right. Oh. I'm going to keep because we have lots of top decks. Tarmogoyf, Lightning Bolt, and if they somehow have a fetch land, which Amulet usually plays like exactly one, but we have a redraw with Bauble here. I like Inquisition on the play here, and if the worst case we can Kroxa, maybe they ditch a land, that turns on Scourge as well. And if they're not ditching a land with the Kroxa, that means we're getting an action spell, which is really good to get out of the deck that plays like 29 lands. So I am going to keep here. Obviously, Scourge is a little cringe here when we don't have a way to turn it on. But okay, they're going to hit the Summoner's Pact. Good to know there. Alright, EE, Arboreal Grazer. Ooh, they got a good hand. So, kind of into taking the Dryad, but maybe we don't need to. Maybe we just take the EE, actually. I think actually I'm into taking EE here. They can just Grazer. And then EE is just their best way to interact. Their hand's a little slow, and we know they're just drawing a Pact, which is not doing a ton for them. And if we can get the Scourge rolling, then it's going to be pretty good. So I think I'm just going to take EE. Like, there's a chance that we take Grazer or something, and they just blind EE on one. But I don't want to take that risk. So I think I'm going with the EE here. Nice stub. Potentially can be good for that Pact. Forest, Grazer. Yep. Okay. See what they discard. I actually don't think they're ditching a land here because of Cavern being the only land. They do actually have to ditch a pretty great spell here. Yeah. Just gonna play out a Dryad. Attack us, you won't. Coward. It's a really good draw. Sweet. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need a if we trophy like a Dryad, let's say, and then we hit a fetch land and we just get to bring back Kroxa, which is pretty sweet. Okay, so we know their hand entirely. I like this play. This just gets out all the mana they need. Because they can bounce somebody back to hand, but then Grazer. Oh no, they can maybe transmute now? Potentially? So if I hit this, what's the transmute cost? Is it blue?
Yeah, 1 blue. blue.
1 blue blue. So if we hit this, they don't play basic island. So I'm going to take the risk here, hit the Dryad. Again, because if I hit fetch land, then we're just bringing Kroxa back. I'm bringing... Oh. I was about to start singing bringing Kroxa back, dude. I'm bringing Kroxa back. Yep. Let's go. Oh, there's an hit. Almost forgot about we had a companion. So they play out the T-West. Alright, so now Bauble or Fetch Land. Okay. Not bad. And then, so we just need a black source because we got red, red, black. We can hold up Stub. Yeah, Overgrown Tomb is fine. Obviously feels bad to get rid of this Bauble, but... Okay, sweet. So now next turn we get to play the Scourge. Now we're kind of rocking and rolling. We protection against Amulet, or not Amulet, or Amulet, yeah. But okay, so they're gonna okay, sweet. So they're gonna T-West and then Pact, but then we have Stub for the Pact. So they need to. Oh, they did that really fast, but we get to attack with Kroxa and make them discard it, right? Huh, interesting. It's not bad with the Luris. What's the... Do you think they would... Do you think they have a... what's it called? The thing... Obstinate Baloth? I think I just want to stub this. They're definitely grabbing Obstinate Baloth, right?
It's possible.
I think I should just stub this. Oh wow, they let us hit. Now the Scourge is just massive. Oh wait, hold on. What are they drawing into? Castle Garenberg? Okay, sweet. Ooh. Okay, they just concede. Fair enough. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit loose to stub this, but I feel like being able to prevent... Because not only are we preventing that, but if they just put that in play and then block, then we don't have this Scourge on. So I would have... My guess would be that they were going for that, but... Okie dokes. So, anything change what we want to do here? I don't think so. I think I like everything we got here. Yep. Violuris is our Pokemon, and we have a solid hand. Just like nice Thoughtseize into turn 2 Shadow, right? 3, 6, 8, yep. And a little redraw and some interaction. Okay, fading the turn 1 Amulet always feels good here. Let's take a peek. Explore, sure. What are we drawing into? A Stomping Ground? Okay, because if we saw a Stub, I might want to pass with Stub up. And let's just grab... I'm going to Overgrown Tomb, Blood Crypt, and Watery Grave. Pack, Dryad. So we have a Fatal Push for the Dryad. So I think I just take a Pact here. And hope we get a Stub for the other Pact. Ooh, 2 more lands is not really what we're looking for. But I guess at the very least it grows our Shadow. So what are we looking at here in terms of mana output? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have 3 of the cards, so I think we're alright to just play Shadow here. Okay, nice. I guess I could have... It was probably free, actually, to grab a blue source there to bluff like we have soft stub. It's... I don't think it's going to do anything, but I think it was free to do. So we got to fade removal spell like EE or Dismember from them. But then otherwise, we might be in a good spot here. Because we just got the wombo. We just got the combo here. We got the dream team. So the way they're... Oh, they just... Oh, right, they have Pact. Okay, so if we hit stub off the top, then we're just doing really well. Okay, we just... We're drawing a heck of a lot of lands here. That's unfortunate. But I guess at the very least here, they are going to get a Titan, but not do a ton with it. So we want to take this opportunity, just apply as much pressure as we possibly can. And I think I just want to use this Fatal Push now. And give our opponent an opportunity to mess up next turn. Because if we hit something like... yeah, like Dismember or Lightning Bolt. Something like that. Transmute. Huh. Ah, very nice, very nice. Alright, MTG Jasukaz. Oh, I should have played a land. I mean, I just assumed they were cracking EE, but I should have grabbed a land there. That was definitely a mistake. Alright. Let's pray to the magic gods. They only have the Pact. Obviously, they can transmute with the T-West, but... Oh, wow, interesting.
They have another T-West? Did it just pack with transmute with one EE?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
So this isn't the worst because we get to lose more life at
Right.
Lurrus to hand.
Right.
They have to pay for Pact. We Lurrus Shadow the next turn.
Right.
And we might just have Battle Rage for the kill.
We might.
Despite the Titan.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. We got to fade a top deck Amulet of Vigor.
Well, as we've seen last or 2 games ago, we're not very good at fading top deck Amulet of Vigors.
No, we're not.
So.
But we may have done it this time. Ooh.
Something. No
So-
hatched eggs.
So I'm just going to go ahead and grab a swamp here. And that way we can bluff stub because it's free. It's going to be a tight one. It's going to be a close one, boys.
No, it's going to be a Titan one.
Oh! Ba-dum.
No, I'm so
Ba-dum, ba-dum,
hungry.
ba-dum, ba-dum. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana available to them. 8 with the Crumbling Vestige. Oh. And our damage output is looking like a 18 trampling damage with the Battle Rage on the Shadow here. Alright, so if this wasn't a Deglammer, it could be a Bolt, which maybe could be relevant. It could be a Fatal Push, which could also be relevant because they're grabbing a... What I assume they're going to grab a plant token here.
So how much trample damage do you have access to?
Fetch shock down to 11, and then 22 trample damage. That's what I said the first time, Mike. I don't think you were listening close enough.
I think you said 18.
Okay. So we need to think for just a split second. Okay, do we need to attack with the Lurrus?
Believe so. Because if they block Titan on Lurrus, they just die.
Right.
If they block Titan on Shadow and Plant Token on Lurrus, they just die. And if they block Titan and Token on Shadow, then the Lurrus getting through means they just die. So yeah, I'm all for attack with the Lurrus.
Nice.
That's 22 trample damage. 6 gets soaked up. That feels like lethal to me, but I could be wrong.
You know, I'm sometimes I'm honestly, for a Magic player, pretty bad at counting. So. Ayo! Got that 4-0. Got that 4-0. Playing for the big, fat, fresh trophy with 4-color Shadow. Either way, though, man, what a smooth league. My goodness, what a smooth league. Just has felt so incredibly easy throughout the whole entire league. So that's super, super nice. So if we get dream robbed here, that's totally fine. I am like super proud and happy with the 4-1 from 4-color Shadow. So. Also, we're only an hour and 15 minutes into the video. You'd love to see it. Love to see it.
See, I put lists together for consideration for time.
Because you know you want us just to get in and out with that kill.
Exactly.
Nice, nice.
SEAL Team 6 action.
SEAL Team 6. Get in, get out.
Get the W.
Get that fresh dub. Alright, Sandstar. Let's do it. We're on the play. You love to see it. We're going to reveal our Pokemon here.
Final boss. What do we got?
Alright, well, this is definitely a mulligan. If this was a Thoughtseize, then I would probably keep this, but we're going to mulligan this one. Sand's fine. It doesn't knock my socks off or anything, but I think we can definitely keep this one. And what are we bottoming? I'm probably just going to bottom the Bolts. Well, we bottom probably Croxa, actually. Actually, I'm kind of torn on this one. Probably it's Croxa, though, right? Just in the blind, it's just like the card that's doing the least in this hand. I mean, Croxa's kind of a monster, though, isn't he?
It's kind of a, I think it's between Bolt and Stub.
And
it's kind of leaning one way or the other.
Mm.
And the reason I think that way is either way you can hold one up on turn 1, fix up your mana to be able to like Tarmogoyf on turn 2, plus Bobble to start growing the Goyf, and get Croaks in the yard to start hitting him with like a 4 or 5 Goyf on turn 3, which is really good.
I think I want to go for the high roll play, just holding up Stub for them on turn 1.
Sure.
Yeah.
But maybe you want to discard the Croxa if you're set on the holding up Stub, because I think the downside of Stub against a creature deck is a lot lower than the downside of Bolt against an unfair deck.
Good point. That's actually a really good way of putting it. Bolt is just more flexible in general. Stub is like, it needs to be a specific type of deck. I actually think that's a really solid argument for the... Obviously, we wish that was our opening 7, but, you know, nothing you can do about that. All right, and we're just going to pass, because we don't know what we're up against. We don't know what we're looking for. See what they got for us. River of Tears. Oh, it's the inverter deck, probably. Alright, this one might be a little tricky. But we'll see what we got here. Stubborn Denial. Actually, against the inverter deck. Well, it protects against removal spells. So, actually, think we're going to take the Stub. We might just Croxa this next turn. See what we hit. Thoughtseize. We have that last turn. Ooh, fetching is going to get a little awkward here. I can fetch off of the Verdant Catacombs for my Thoughtseize and still hold up Stub, but if I do, that means I'm not goofing. And I may not ever.
I
So,
think I'd probably get like Watery Grave off the Delta,
Right.
stomping around off the Catacombs, and play the
play the goof? Or the Croxa?
yeah, play the Goof.
Okay.
Because with River of Tears, they can't push in their instep.
Ooh.
They could Spell Snare, but I don't think anybody's playing around Spell Snare in 2021.
I mean, our last opponent did.
It's been a time.
Our Izzet Prowess, or not Izzet Prowess, Izzet Dragon opponent did.
Is it Dragon opponent?
Yeah, dude. Okay.
I like this.
I'm just gonna slam the Croxa, right? I mean, we don't have a Ferocious Stub right now.
Right.
Go.
I like waiting to Thoughtseize the turn before an inverter would come down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ooh.
Ooh.
The old goof getting thicky. Getting thicky.
I think opponent might be light on lands.
That's a good read, actually. No, maybe not.
Bottom
found
with
it.
the opt.
And then shuffled? Sure. Oh, to opt again. So,
They just like kept a 2-lander. So that kind of explains pitching the Jace like right away.
Okay. I kind of want to hold up Stub here. It's just like we're putting a ton of pressure on them, plus with the bolt.
So think about what's gonna happen over the next turn. Like you can finish combat, nothing you do inside of combat is gonna change anything. But if you pass to their turn and they play a 6/6 invert, what are we doing from that point to win the game?
We can kill it, untap Thoughtseize, and hopefully they only have one other way to win.
Sure.
I think that's fine, right?
Like it's either that or Thoughtseize now to try to stop the inverter, but you don't get to hold up Stub. Like Stub's not stopping the inverter, right?
It's not, but we don't know 100% their inverter. They could just be blue-black control.
Sure.
So
if you think it's blue-black control, then I like the
yeah.
holding up.
Well, I guess it's not that I necessarily know that they are. It's just that, like, yeah, I think they're just Esper.
Interesting.
That's fine.
Good read. I like not having my opponent resolve that one.
Would be
I don't
nice.
know about you, but
I'm borderline about it, actually. I actually went to Stub and I was like, ooh, is that a punt? Did we just punt there?
it's understandable too.
So against Esper, I really like Veil of Summer and Kolagon's Command. I'm assuming... Oh, y'all can see my job application. I'm assuming this is Gendrick's list, because he just won. What's his name? TSP Gendrick? Oh, there he is right there. Okay. So... let's take a peek. Let's take a look-see here. By the way, huge shout-out. This was the coolest challenge finals I've ever watched. It was him versus Timu on blue-red Kiki Jiki. So it's literally a control mirror to finish things out. So we see Jace's, we see River of Tears. This has got to be the list. So this is what we're up against. We can see the 4 Snapcaster Mages. Kaya's Guile's pretty good against us. Supreme Verdict, very good against us. And I'm assuming things just get worse in the sideboard. They can bring in Purges if they'd like. They can bring in Kaya's Guiles, stuff like that. More Time Ravelers, which are very good against us. So my assumption here would be they cut Force and Negations, probably cut some counter spells, and just bring in more removal spells. They might be going for Gust because they died to a Tarmogoyf there. So with that all being said, I still like Veil for the Fatal Pushes, the Eliminate, and the Eliminate from the sideboard. So I still want those Veils. Kolagon's Command seems like it's going to play a role. And I would like to try to find room for now spell bombs, but let's see what we cut. Definitely don't want battle rages here. Stub's pretty
Does your
awesome.
list have any creatures outside of like Snapcaster?
Just snappies. So, and a monastery mentor in the sideboard. We're gonna keep our bolts, but we're definitely gonna cut these.
Yeah, no creeping tar pits either.
I don't think so. No. We can cut the seal of fire. That's not gonna do much for us either. All right, I got 50 seconds. I think because of how much like Kaya's Guile and
Are you cutting
Supreme
the battle
Verdicts?
rages?
Oh yeah. Sorry. That would be good. Yeah. Otherwise, I think we got a sweet little list here to fight against them. So, stubs are going to be a huge help. His hand looks. No breeding pool. No breeding pool.
Hey, I didn't make the list.
Is this hand still good though? I mean, I guess we just have to have third land, right? And that's fine. But like, really, what's our relevant interaction? Is just stub?
I'd probably ship it.
Yeah.
Because this is like turn 2 naked Tarmogoyf
Right.
and a prayer.
Right. I think we'll keep this one. Just bolt probably. Third land for stub. Get Croaks in the bin. Just not turn 1 spellbomb, turn 2 Croakses. Like not great, but it's okay. Maybe we can get a turn 3 Scourge stub.
Turn 1 bolt them, turn 2 Scourge.
Yeah.
You might be able to stub up on turn 3.
Feels ambitious given their deck list though.
I mean, with like a bunch of Esper charms and things like that, we're not winning the grindy long game.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
Might just have to play for like the high upside.
Okay. Interesting stuff. Double Scourge, eh? Okay, yeah, no Path to Exiles here. I like that. I really like that about the list.
If he's not, or if he's fetching there, I wouldn't bold.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Play a 1/1 Scourge.
Right.
Or Croak. Just jamming.
Scourge after Scourge after Scourge. Ah! I guess I did slam this into a counter spell, but yeah.
It happens.
Right.
Try it 2 more times. Maybe one of them sticks.
Right. Let's see, do they have Teferino? Little Teffers? Turn 3. Yeferino. Ooh, the Fun Raveler. Alright. Land drop would be Chef's Kiss, because then we can just kill that and play Scourge out again. No. Okay. We're just going to jam Scourge again. Boom. Opponent, I have threats. I guess they can like Kaya's Guile, like just gain the life and make me and just like make a 1/1. But Kaya's Guile is killing this anyway, so. Land drop.
Heard you like bolts.
I heard I like bolts and scourges.
Verdict.
The old verdict in the attack site. I would celebrate a verdict here because it's just a 1-for-1. Okay, awkward. Might as well just cash in on a bolt here. And drop. Oop. El Snapcaster Reno hitting the bin. Gotta makes you think that they gotta have another one in a land drop. Maybe not. Okay. Oh no, because they missed land drop last year. What we got, opponent? Sure. I don't mind grinding here for a little bit, especially if we hit land drop 4 and 5. Like if we ever hit that, then I'm pretty happy. I think I'm going to go a little Bolt Ski upstairs. End step. Pew pew. Just love that land drop. Come on. Bobble. Okay. Sure. I have another Scourge of the Skyclays opponent. What you have? Guessing just another Kaya's Guile. Guess this time exiling the yard and gaining the life. Yep, pretty good. Oh, whoa, that doesn't get exiled? I thought it went the other way around. Oh, that's because when they gain the life, then it dies to... Oh, that's a really interesting subtlety. Oh, no, that's because the gaining the life's at the bottom of the list. That's why. So normally, since sack a creature's at the top, then you sack the creature, then you exile the yard? Okay, I gotcha. My brain got there eventually. There's the lands. Okay. Ooh, another stub. All right.
Card reads top to bottom, left to right.
So I think I'm actually just going to load Luris into hand. Because it ain't like we are... Ooh, what we got, opponent? Another Kaya's Guile? You know, if you play against a Shadow deck, if you just can cast 4 Kaya's Guile... Oh, never mind, they're drawing cards. I was going to say, if you just cast enough Kaya's Guiles, you eventually win the game, right?
Only if you attack with the tokens.
That's true. That's true. Oh, okay. Alright, I guess we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So we can potentially do some things and stuff. The old Snapperino. Sure. Ooh, make me discard? Make me discard? Draw 2. Fair enough. You got it, bud. So if I cast this and then Veil, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I actually think it's a little bit better just to go Inquisition. I guess I could have done it here because if they had countered, I could have Veiled, but yeah. Okay, what are we doing now? 2, 4, 5. I'm just sad pointing a bolt at a Snappy? Probably. If they tap out for something, I'm definitely going to stub it. Okay, yeah, especially if they're going to make us discard too. Land drop? Okay. Tricky. Because this does not grab another blue source. We only got the 1 Watery Grave. I could grab just a swamp off this, try to lure us bobble. Doesn't feel like a great use of our resources. Let's just, yeah, we'll just try to, gotta keep going back and forth. I don't even think holding up stub is gonna do anything. So yeah. Okay. Since we have yet to land a ferocious threat, like shadow off the top would have been pretty sweet. Oh yeah, just fully kicked Kai's Guile. Alright, we just go to game 3. Alright, hand was pretty awkward. I think if we could have hit some more land drops, developed our hand a little bit more, like we were just so constrained, maybe we could have like gotten a little bit more done there. Otherwise, I think we're good just to run this back. I don't think I want to change anything. Obviously, we drew a bunch of our bolts and our scourges, and that looked really awkward. But I think had we drawn other parts of our deck, I think we would have been just fine. So let's hope to not do that again next game. We would love to play first. We'll reveal our Pokemon. Oh. 18 other lands in the deck. Even if we hit our land drops, we're just like Ren and Sixing and then Croaksing. I guess that's alright, but I think we got to mulligan this. Whoa, the hand stayed the same. We are keeping this one though, because if we hit those lands, then we're in really good shape. We're just gonna bottom Kolaghan's Command. We're just gonna fetch Shock for Overgrown Tomb here. All right, well, I like this better than going to 5. 5's kind of a death sentence for sure, but. Off that Inquisition. Ooh, their hand's kind of murpy. So, kind of like taking Snappy.
Well, not to get him off of the card draw or anything like that. Destroy, then you
Just seems really low impact, and I think Snappy's just the best card in their hand. And we also have Thoughtseize for the Fatal Push. And we can, if they want to opt into a better card and we Thoughtseize it, that's fine. Included Delta is good for us because that means we get to turn on our Scourge. Alright, second land. Never lucky. Alright, I think we still want to Thoughtseize here. Just another opt. Sure, we'll let them opt away. Alright, well if we don't ever see second land, obviously, I don't think we're getting there, but I think we got one more turn to see that second land, and if we do, we just start slamming threats here. Alright, feels bad. I still stand behind all of our decisions here. I mean, I think, yeah, I don't think going to 5 in a matchup like this is really going to get there. Okay. I think we can call it now. I'll give it one more draw step, but I think we can call it because I guess we have the element of just jamming threats, but with them on 4 mana, now they have access to Cryptic Command and Planeswalkers. They just slam Jace here, and then we're just constantly getting our 1 creature a turn bounced and stuff like that. So, all right. So if I fetch Shock and Shadow, then I can hold up Veil, which I kind of am into. Because at the very least, it lets dig us for more land drops. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab a Blood Crypt so that we can also cast this Kroxa. Play this Death Shadow. Best case scenario, they just have Cryptic. Okay, no. Alright. Worst case is they just have a Kaya's Guile. But the Kaya's Guile, there is some consideration to firing off Veil just as a redraw. Yeah. Kaya's Guile is a huge pain in the ass. Alright. I'm just going to let it go. The upside of us hitting another land drop next turn and then being able to just do the same thing but with Tarmogoyf is nice. Alright. Second verse, same as the first. Snap Kaya's Guile. Ah! Damn it. Shouldn't have said it. Shouldn't have said it. Oh, man. Heads up from them to just go ahead and gain the life there. Alright, there's a chance they're flooded. Land drop? Ooh. Okay, let's just give this a shot. There's a chance that we go for this, they try to counter it, we Veil Summer, and then we just help to dig ourselves out of this situation. Alright, sure, dude. Oh, do they just have a hand of all... Okay. Okay. Interesting. Oh, you want to make me discard opponent? So rude. No, obviously we've been telegraphing Veil Summer pretty hard this whole time. Ugh. Alright, I mean... Ugh. I just know that I'm going to put this Tarmogoyf on the stack and then they're going to have a counter spell, right? Right. Of course. Ugh, frustrating, man. Oh, they're just going to draw two? Okay. Whoa, the goofy sticks, huh? Don't expect them to just be sticking for too long here. Woof. Woof! Alright, we're just dead, right? Because they just attack with Snappy here. We play out a creature, they bounce it again. Yep. Alright, GG's opponent. Well played. Super well played from our opponent. Unfortunately, got robbed of the 5-0, but this is actually the first time in the challenge that we've gone 4-0 and gotten robbed of the 5-0, which is pretty remarkable considering how often that will happen to you. But I'm super, super happy with that league. Obviously, I can't ask for anything more, especially playing good old 4-color Shadow. But great times. This list feels sweet. I really, really enjoy it. I love that it's retaining a lot of the really good elements and powerful elements of Jund Shadow, but we're kind of just freely getting those stubs in. The only thing I would want to try to revisit is just experiment with the mana base. There were just times where the mana base was a little bit awkward. I don't think it was game-changing or anything. I mean, as you can see there, the only reason why we lost the last one is just we just missed land drops. We just had rolled out and hit land drops. I think we would have done fantastic in that last game. So yeah, otherwise, thank you guys if you're still watching. I really appreciate all the comments. Really appreciate all the engagement. It's been really, really wonderful and made it super rewarding to go down this journey. We only have 2 days left, which is wild. But yeah, it's been a really, really special time. And I hope to see everyone tomorrow.